Insane Finance, YouTube. Insane Finance, YouTube. Well, that does not look like we're live. Waiting for confirmation. We are live. Seems like we're having a lot of streaming trouble today. Okay, it does look like that we're finally live here. All right, awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, my confirmation screen is buffering again. Okay, I guess I'm going to cut this out, and when the stream is over, I'm going to cut the front end of this off because we're having kind of a false start here, a really bad false start here. It does look like that we're finally live here. All right, awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, my confirmation screen is buffering again. Okay. All right. Seems the chat works too. We've got the chat working. Seems we have audio working. We have visual. We have the picture under the pictures. And we have a really good article about Ford here today we're going to get into. So today in this live stream, we're going to go over an article in the Detroit Free Press. I think this article is also in the New York Times, but don't quote me on that. The article is by Phoebe Wall-Howard, and Ford threatens dealers. We won't send you F-150 Lightnings if you break the sales rules. So, by Phoebe Wall-Howard, Detroit Free Press. Ford Motor Company, concerned about its reputation and customer complaints related to the upcoming launch of the F-150 Lightning, is warning dealers not to upsell reservations for the popular EV truck and also wants customers to sign a contract preventing them from reselling it within a year, according to a letter from the automaker to its dealers. That sounds like, if you're going to use the word threatening for threatening the auto dealers, I think that kind of applies to the customers here too, because he wants the customers to sign a contract to prevent them reselling within a year. Now, I know there's some bad actors there, and if they're talking about people who are scalping and scalping trucks so that, purposely buying a truck so other people can't get it unless they buy it from them at a higher price, I could see that. But it seems like there'd be other ways to deal with that than having them sign an additional contract preventing them from reselling it within a year, because there's lots of other reasons I can think of that people would want to sell their vehicle, and even though they've had it for less than a year. The warning letter, dated Friday and posted online by F150GEN14.com forum, is addressed to all dealer principals, the general manager, and sales managers. Written by Andrew Frick, Ford's vice president of the U.S. and Canada sales, the letter began, and I quote, "It has come to our attention that a limited number of dealerships are interacting with customers in a manner that is negatively impacting customer satisfaction and damaging to the Ford Motor Company brand and dealer body reputation." Okay. Now, if by that they mean that, some of the dealers are charging extra fees or charging extra money to the customers for certain vehicles just because they're in a low supply, a very low supply, and they're taking advantage of the situation, well, I guess it would depend on how much extra and what they're doing. But I'm glad that Ford is noticing it and addressing it and possibly doing something about it. I don't know if I agree with this thing with the having customers sign anything about whether they're going to sell their vehicles or not. I'd like to hear your comments and how you feel about that. Let me see how we're doing here. Okay. Back to the article. Examples of these negative interactions include demanding that customers who are already on the reservation list for the 2022 model year F-150 Lightning make additional deposits or payments, the letter said. Well, yeah, yeah, I could see how that could tick some customers off. Quote, "These actions are perceived as threatening customers by withholding their opportunity to convert reservations to orders," the letter said. "This behavior is not allowable." Well, good for Ford. Ford then cites dealer sales and service contract language that requires dealers to conduct their operations in a manner that reflects favorably on dealers, the company, and its products. In quotes, "The dealer shall avoid in every way any bait, deceptive, misleading, confusing, illegal advertising, or business practices," the letter said. Well, that's good to remind them of that. Hopefully, Ford dealers aren't doing any of that, or if so, not much of it, I would hope. In quotes, "If it is determined that your dealership is engaging in such practices, Ford Motor Company reserves the right to redirect that dealership's allocation of the F-150 Lightning for all of model year 2022, the letter said. Okay, so here's where they're threatening that, if they do these bad things to tick customers off and make the customers mad, they'll send their allocation of F-150 Lightnings to some other dealership. Now, if let's say dealership A is doing stuff like this and ticks off a lot of customers, and they have, say, 3 Ford F-150 Lightning EVs that are supposed to go to their dealership and supposed to go to those customers that are getting ticked off. The customers complain to Ford, and Ford tells the dealership A, look, you're just not getting your Lightnings this year. We're getting sending those Lightnings to some other dealership. That sounds great on the surface. But what about the customers that they're ticking off? How are they going to get their Lightnings now? How are they going to get their Lightning EVs? I mean, is Ford going to make some kind of special arrangements that they can go pick up these EVs from another dealership and maybe transfer the sales commissions over to there or something? Because if you think about this a little deeper, that solution seems to have a few holes in it, where the customer loses if you don't do it right. I mean, in addition to, I still don't agree with the thing about making the customer sign stuff. I mean, if there are customers that like previously have bought vehicles and resold them within a year, and they know that they do that kind of thing, then yeah, maybe have them sign it. But if it's just Joe Blow customer and they got no reason, or if they've got a used car dealer's license or something, and they come in there wanting to buy one new, and you've got reason to believe that they're just gonna scalp the thing, maybe. But let's go on with and see what else they're saying in this article about what's going on between Ford and the EV Lightning and their dealerships and the customers. I know Ford stock went down today. This article came out yesterday. Ford stock is already down like 3%. And there could be other contributing factors. But it's nice to read these articles when a stock moves and see if any of these articles are potentially a catalyst for that move. And I'd be happy to hear your comments on your opinion of whether this would be a catalyst in that move or not. To help protect the interest of the dealer, however, Ford did write a letter that it supports. I think that this would all protect the interest of the dealer as well. I mean, okay, well, let me not nitpick the guy's article until we read it. To help protect the interest of the dealer, however, I'm already nitpicking, aren't I? Ford did write in the letter that it supports modifying the traditional vehicle purchase contract. In order to prevent people from buying and immediately reselling the pickup truck, yeah, I think we already talked about this in this article. Pickup truck for a profit, Ford is offering support for a no sale provision to be signed by the customer at the time of purchase. Ford is offering support for a no sale provision to be signed by the customer at the time of purchase. Dealers may add this language to existing closing forms or create a new standalone document. So there's another problem I have with this, and it may sound a little political because it kind of is. I'm into free market capitalism. I like free market capitalism, and I don't think free market capitalism should be selective. So I don't think scalping should be just let loose and unregulated. But also, I mean, let's put it this way: there's a happy median somewhere where, like, somebody wants to go buy 2 or 3 of these things just to resell them, but one person buys it and they decide they don't like it, and then they want to sell it, and they have an opportunity to make a profit at the same time. They didn't intend to sell it when they first bought it, but they do decide to sell it later, and they have a chance to make profit. I don't think that Ford and the Ford dealerships are the only one that should be allowed to make profit in a free market economy. Once you've bought something, you own it. Why, if you're truly in a free market economy, why should anybody interfere with your ability to make a profit? And why should it even have any kind of stigma to it? I mean, I'm sure Marxists would completely disagree with me, but I don't like them anyway, and they don't like me. So Ford provided language explicit. I'm sure if they take over, they're just going to murder me anyway. So Ford provided language that explicitly requires the buyer to agree not to sell, offer for sale, or transfer any ownership interest in the Lightning within 1 year of purchase. If the buyer sells the vehicle within 1 year, they may face court action that includes blocking transfer of the car title. Oh, that's another thing that's just like smacks of all kinds of wrong. Hear me out here. On the surface, that don't sound so bad, but you think about it, then that's not just threatening the dealership, that's threatening the customer and threatening the potential secondary customer in the secondary market. And that's what it's called. If you buy something new and you resell it within a certain amount of time, you're part of the secondary market. This happens with there's certain things there's a lot of secondary market, especially collectibles and stuff like that. But let's say you really hate scalpers or something, and you got a problem with them, and you want to clamp down on them. Well, then in order to believe what these people are doing is very wrong, you would of course believe that they're victimizing somebody. Well, who is that victim here? Is Ford the victim, or the person that they're selling it to at a profit? Let's say they go in there and they buy a Ford Lightning and purposely buy it to keep somebody else from getting it so that they can sit on it and make a profit, and they're getting in between that end-use buyer and Ford on purpose so they can jack it up and make a profit, and they just maliciously, nefariously, on purpose do it that way, knowing that end user probably would have, let's say they just pull into the parking lot like 5 minutes before that guy does. And the only reason they bought it was to resell it to some guy like him that he would have been able to buy it cheaper if that guy hadn't got in the way. And so who is he victimizing? Well, in that case, he'd be victimizing the secondary buyer. Well, let's say he bought the truck. Now he tries to sell it to this secondary buyer. The secondary buyer gives him the money, and now he can't get the title for his truck. He's victimized twice, isn't he? Now he's been victimized by the scalper and victimized by Ford, because now Ford won't let the title be transferred. So Ford, really? Oh. Think before you act. There's the moral of the story here. Think before you act. Ford, please think about this the way you should have thought about. It'll tow 1 million pounds. Oh gosh. Yeah, I love my Mustangs. I love my big Ford van. I like a lot of Ford products and a lot of things Ford do, but come on, Ford. You say you're doing stuff and it seems like you are trying to do stuff for your, but man, some of this stuff is not going to help your reputation. It's just going to make it worse. Why now? Is what it says here in the article. This letter was inspired by a discussion Frick had with members of the Ford dealer network on Thursday. Ford spokesperson Saeed Deep said, and I apologize if I'm butchering your name, Mr. Deep, but I really, yeah, I'm doing the best I can. The Free Press confirmed with the Ford dealer community that the letter was sent and received, and that a webinar was held with Frick. However, the Frick call was primarily intended to review year-end sales and what to expect in coming months with the Lightning Order Bank opening this week. The letter that went out captures the spirit and discussion, Deep said. Okay. He told the Free Press on Friday that customer care is especially important right now. Well, yeah. But I mean, some of this seems to be customer care, and some of it seems to be customer abuse. Yeah. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. Let's see, in quotations, it says the all-new F-150 Lightning represents a leap ahead in innovation for Ford trucks and is critical to the Ford brand and our dealerships as we move into a segment we've never competed in. I agree with every bit of that. Deep said that. Deep also said, we are competing with others who have a direct model, and we need to be very mindful of how customers perceive Ford and our dealer network. I agree with that too. How our dealers treat customers has major implications not only on an individual dealer, but the reputation of Ford and our dealers. Agree with all of that. That everything Deep said in that whole paragraph, I got no problem with. Tim Hovick, chairman of the Ford National Dealer Council that serves as an advisory group on strategy and developing issues within Ford, said dealers are pleased. Pleased about what exactly? Now, I can think of several things they'd be really pleased about and several things they're not necessarily pleased about. The dealer council worked with Ford Motor Company, and we feel very positive about the letter, he said Friday. Who said? He said. Who said? Who's the he? Tim Hovick? I guess that's what the author is meaning, that Tim Hovick said that. I guess. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. In quotations, I don't think the letter makes us look bad at all. Okay. You said you want to make it to where customers can't sell their Ford truck that they paid for within a year. You didn't say there was any stipulations like, well, if you didn't like it, you've never, scalped the truck before, you've never, done any of that kind of stuff. You just don't like it. You want to sell it and get out or get something else. And if they do, then you might block the transfer of the title, and then you got two customers there that's potentially going to be very angry, a primary customer and a secondary customer, because the title and you don't think that's going to make you look bad. Well, says, I don't think the letter makes us look bad at all. We're coming with a new product, a new way to come to market with that product. and it's a hugely anticipated launch. I view the letter more as making sure we're all on the same page. Well, everybody in the line doing the same thing doesn't necessarily mean that thing's the right thing. How about make sure it's the right thing before you get everybody on the same page? I mean, it doesn't sound like you got everybody at the dealerships together and allowed them to help make the decision. It sounds like you got some people at Ford Motor Company together, made a decision, and then informed the dealerships that that was the way you want it done. And I don't know if you asked them their opinion about it or not. And they probably, like me, have done a lot of sales for many, many years and know a little bit about customer care and customer behavior and getting repeat sales and stuff. If you haven't got the opinion of the Ford dealers on this subject matter, I wouldn't assume that they're just happy and pleased with every bit of it, and that you. I wouldn't just assume that you should just go ahead and implement it just because everybody's on the same page as to what you as Ford Motor Company wants. I mean, you could convince everybody and get everybody on the same page to march off the same cliff, and that still doesn't mean it's right to have them march off that cliff or any cliff. Even if there's a nice big body of warm water below it, I'm still not sure that's a good idea. Okay, moving on with the article. Hovik, who also owns Santan Ford. Can you tell I've worked at a Ford? Oh my gosh. Hovik, who also owns Santan Ford in Gilbert, Arizona, said, "We're really excited as we get close to launching the Lightning." I bet they are. I mean, that right there it seemed be very exciting that if you're in any kind of dealership anywhere, you're probably very excited to know that those Lightnings are about to hit the lot, and it's because there's probably going to be a lot of people really happy to get a F-150 Lightning EV, and hopefully Ford Motor Company won't force these dealerships to do anything that ruins that excitement for those customers. And overwhelming demand. Ford received so many reservations for all electric pickup truck that the company had to shut down the reservation process in December. Now I got a few reservations about the reservation process, and it seems like there's a little smoke and mirrors there, and we'll get into that here in a little bit later, so you'll understand what I'm talking about. The company just this week opened up the opportunity for customers to convert their $100 reservation orders to actual purchases. Ford is working through the list, and the order reservations were placed since the reveal in May. With some 200,000 reservations, and it seems like a lot, but bear in mind now, Tesla's truck, they got over 1 million reservations. It's way over 1 million reservations, so that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's over 1 million reservations, and 200,000 reservations is like 20% of that. And Ford, okay, so going on with the article, with some 200,000 reservations, Ford also announced this week a plan to ramp up production. Woo! And the stock market responded favorably. Oh boy, did they! I got an eye roll for that too. Uh, the cost of the pickup ranges from $39,974 to $92,000. Now that's a little lower than what I saw when I was researching it, because I was really seriously, I was down to either ordering the Ford F-150, which, as you can see, is a beautiful truck, or the Tesla Cybertruck. And so, obviously this Ford F-150 Lightning is, to me, I guess it's subjective, but to me, is a much better looking truck than the Tesla Cybertruck. But it came down to price versus towing capacity. And I want towing capacity in my truck. I want to pull things with it for real. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use my truck for a truck. And I'm getting way more towing capacity with the Tesla at a significantly lower price. And this isn't the top tier trucks. This is comparing apples to apples. This is the top tier Tesla Cybertruck versus the top tier Ford F-150 Lightning EV. And so in comparison of those two, not any of the lower range ones, but those two, the most expensive of the both, around close to $20,000 less for the top tier Tesla Cybertruck, unless they change something at the last minute. And then, of course, we still got, I could do the same thing as I think a lot of people are going to do, and that is just maybe if they renege on what their claims are or go up on the price, I could still shift over and put in an order for the F-150 Lightning. Of course, either way, I'm going to be waiting a while to get my truck, either way. And y'all will find out on my other channel, my Sane Auto channel, about my truck and my truck delivery and stuff like that, because here I'm mainly talking about this because it affects the stock. It affects my Tesla stock, my Ford stock, which right now, full disclosure, I don't have any Ford stock right now. I sold it a little bit too early. Not that I didn't make money, but I didn't make as much money if I had kept it until now. And I've still got Tesla stock. So, but the reason I'm not buying Ford stock right now, it's not because of this. It's because I feel like it's at the top, and I don't buy at the top. I like buying in the dip. This is not financial advice, so don't do what I do about my stocks, unless that's you're copying the fact that I do research and that I do learn about the companies and keep up to date with the companies and what the companies are doing, what people are saying about the companies and that sort of thing. I would recommend doing that. Gather all the information you possibly can before you make your own decision about what to buy and what to sell and when to buy it and when to sell it. Don't copy me, because I don't always win these stock trades. Nobody does. Well, I can't really say that because I don't know. I don't know everybody, and I don't know everybody's trades. Ford has had an issue with buyers. It says here in the article that Ford has had an issue with buyers snapping up the popular Ford Bronco and reselling it at profits of more than $10,000. I wonder how many times that's happened, because that kind of sounds like bragging to me. Kind of sounds like locker room bragging. What do you think? You think that sounds a little bit like locker room bragging? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that could have happened one time, two times, 20 times, 200 times. I don't know. There's no numbers here. It doesn't say. So that's really not an objective. Without that other information, I don't know how much of a problem that is. And it kind of sounds like bragging. The Ford Lightning is built at the Just because I'm saying it's bragging doesn't mean it's not true. I'm not saying that it sounds untrue. I'm just saying that the way it's presented, it just sounds like it's a tongue-in-cheek kind of like, oh, we have this problem, because kind of like when they try to sell you the weight loss stuff, and they say, yeah, if you lose more than 30 pounds in 30 days, contact your doctor and discontinue use immediately of our product. that's the kind of vibe I get from that statement about they're snapping up the popular Ford Bronco. There's two buzzwords right there in half a sentence, and reselling it at profits of more than 10,000. So you see what I mean? The Ford Lightning is built at the Rogue Electric or Rouge or ROG or however you want to pronounce that electric vehicle center in Dearborn. And that's how they end the article. That just okay. It seems a little off topic. Just a little where there is. Ford Lightning is built at the Rogue Electric. Okay. Seems like they would have elaborated on that a little bit, maybe thrown in a few production numbers or something. It could have been a whole paragraph there about the Ford Lightning is built at the Rogue Electric Vehicle Center, and they're on track this year to produce 15,000 of them, and they're planning on, because like in one of these other articles, I did see some numbers like that, I believe. Let me see if I can find those numbers for you. I want to read this whole other article, but I do want to share with you the numbers, the production numbers, because that seems like a big deal right there. It's Routers report from August placed production targets at 15,000 for 2022, and that come from a Routers report on Routers, Reuters, and 15,000 for 2022 and 55,000 for 2023. And remember, Ford had mentioned that they're going to increase production, and that was a big catalyst for the price going up, or at least I think it was the major catalyst for the price going up. And a lot of other people mentioned that are much more expert in stocks and stuff than I am that was the catalyst. So take that for what it's worth. It's very subjective. Let's see here. Oh, and I think somewhere else they mentioned that they were planning on the next year after that, 2024, ramping production up to like 80,000. And I'm sure that would be if demand were still strong. I mean, if they start exploding like a Pinto, that could affect sales, orders, and production. I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying there's any chance that they will. I'm playing around here, All right. So that is the article on Ford entitled, by Phoebe Wall Howard, entitled Ford Threatens Dealers. We won't send you a F-150 Lightnings if you break sales rules. I'd really like to hear your opinions on that. Oh, wow, there is food. Woohoo! I have food and I've got to go. I have enjoyed hanging out with y'all today. Hey, Camaro time is here. And I can't read that, but I'm glad you're here. The rest with you. And wow, I hope y'all are still here. I don't know if anybody's, top chat 0. But thank you for coming for my live. I'm going to get better at living again. I've got new living software that I'm not familiar with. And so it's hard for me right now to switch back and forth between what I'm screen sharing and what I'm not, and to pay attention to the chat while I'm doing the presentation. But I'll get better at it, and we'll see what we can do and see if we can make it a lot more entertaining in the future. Thank you so much for coming, Camaro Time, Pete. At Camaro Time, check out his channel, and also his Old Man Diecast is a very good channel as well, especially if you like diecast cars, Hot Wheels, and Jada and some of the other.
Come I say hello.
And Carol says hello, Pete. So, and Camaro Time, of course, has a lot of Camaro content, including two very nice Camaros of two different generations owned by Pete and kept in immaculate condition and just super clean. It probably at least as clean as my fork here. So, and sometimes he'll even reveal some of his secrets of how he keeps them so clean and show some of the products and everything that he uses, and puts the links in the description so that you can very easily click on them and get those products. So check that out. And if you're into car channels and stuff like that, then you can also check out my channel, Saint Auto, where we do a variety of American muscle cars and some Toyotas, to everything from Mustangs, Corvettes to hybrid Toyotas. So, but mostly repairs, tool reviews, and car shows. Till the next video, I'm wishing you all, and of course, keep coming back here for finance, stocks, real estate investing, that sort of thing. And I'm wishing you all my insane friends, hashtag insane growth and insane success.
Did you tell them how much Ford stock was going for?
Yeah, how much is Ford stock right now? Ford stock in the after hours it's still right around 23 and high change. It's 23.85 right now at this moment. And right near the close, it went from 23.69 up to 23.85. That is down 2.39% from the opening of the day, which was $24.08 it opened at, or roughly, give or take a few pennies. Give me some leeway there. I'm not completely accurate on my numbers here. But it fluctuated. I think the lowest it went was around 23.40 something. And the highest it was during the day, it did a little kick up there in the early morning, kicked up to $24.31. I did not buy or sell any of it during the day. I was convinced it was going to go down, and it did. But I didn't tell anybody because I wasn't convinced enough to tell anybody. And even when I tell people what I think my predictions are, I'm not saying to buy or sell according to my predictions, because I could be wrong. I've just been very lucky that I've been right, and the stuff that I've said this week, and it's not financial advice. The Tesla stock, I did buy some more of that.
Entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely.
And it's very entertaining.
It can be very entertaining to see me lose lots of money or make lots of money. It's kind of like entertaining, like watching somebody gamble or something.
Or watching a train wreck.
Or watching a train wreck. Yeah, that's a good one. That would work. I did buy a couple more of the Tesla stock this morning, and I did end up selling them later on in the day. And they ended up being the same as when I had bought my Ford stock and sold my Ford stock. I did make some money, but I didn't make as much as I could have if I had held on to it longer. And that brings me to one of the things that I've learned that works for me, is that it's usually I make more money when I do longer holds than when I do shorter trades. So that's not advice. It's just advice from me to me publicly. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming to my live. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.